Hello, my name is Dr. June Wade. I am the lead biological researcher, head of the biological research department at SORI's Research and Containment Facilities. I was instructed to record this cassette tape for any SCONE operators. Consider this your training that you won't get in person. How this tape is going to work is essentially I am going to read off the document that was written on the subject class neutralization enforcers. Then I am going to describe the details of your job, what you'll be doing every day, and what is expected of you. The document reading will begin now. Subject class-oriented neutralization enforcers, or SCONEs, or as they are most commonly referred to as SCONE devices, are apparatuses designed for subject class personnel at SORI's sites. First designed by Dr. Foskery, a highly respected engineer within the Anomalous Research and Development Department. With help from other engineers, a prototype was first developed in 1998. The SCONE device was designed to ensure subject class compliance and to completely cease riots and conflicts between subjects completely, an issue that was prevalent at the time. The device, during testing, was proven very successful. Unfortunately, upon presenting the device, Dr. Foskery accidentally tripped the device, severing his wrist and hand completely off. He was rushed to a nearby medical station but died from blood loss quickly. SCONE devices have undergone 3 different versions since their official use for subject class personnel. The changes and reason for said changes will be stated momentarily. However, it is important to note 3 things all versions have in common. 1. SCONE devices are always worn and never taken off. 2. SCONE devices have tracking devices and a remote receiver that can trip the device, terminating the user. 3. They are always worn around the neck, with flexible clamps holding onto the shoulders. Version 1. The device itself was a bear trap-like device. Upon activation, it would clamp shut instantly, piercing the frontal lobe and parietal lobe of the brain. The clamps were made of steel and were surgically attached to the subject class. The device required signal frequency to activate. This version was operational during 1999 to 2003. The reason for the change was that subjects reported extreme discomfort and an inability to sleep from the pain in their shoulders from the surgery. Additionally, the spikes were exposed, leading to other subject classes harming themselves on either their own or someone else's SCONE device. Cleaning up after the activation of the device was unnecessarily messy, and the signal used to activate the device was broadcast to the user itself, leading to nearby devices also activating. Version 2. The bear trap design was quickly replaced. Plans to do so existed even before problems occurred with the first version. Instead, a spike was placed on a tripwire that, when activated, would flip up and pierce the occipital lobe, and even the temporal and parietal lobe. Individual switchboards were given to specialized guards, named SCONE Operators, who oversaw flipping a switch on a board in front of them with the ID numbers of prisoners when given the order to. The clamps on the shoulders were no longer surgically attached, and instead a rubber tubing was tied around the subject's arms under their armpits. This design was operational during 2004 to 2005. The reason for the change. In some cases, the tripwire device would either not have enough velocity, or the angle it pierced at wouldn't cause sufficient damage to the brain, leading to an effective lobotomy of the subject class, requiring them to be terminated via other means. This was taxing on many personnel's mental health, and in addition, the rubber binds on the shoulders greatly restricted the movement of the arms, making testing more difficult. Version 3. The spike design was replaced with a far more humane way of termination. Instead of piercing or visually displeasing way of termination, the new version featured a small metal needle positioned directly at a particular spot on the back of the neck, a bundle of nerves that is needed for brain function. When activated, the needle would push forward, silently and painlessly dispatching the personnel. The rubber binds on the armpits of the personnel were replaced with a flexible material that connects at the base of the device, allowing free arm movement. SCONE operators are still in place to this day. This version was operational during 2005 and is the current version used today. On to Section 2 of this tape. What are your responsibilities as a SCONE operator? Well, this is quite simple. You took an entrance exam at the beginning of your application, and you were deemed fit mentally to be a SCONE operator. As you know, your job will involve killing on a regular basis. The punishment for disobedience from subject class personnel or fighting other subject class personnel, any behavior that could be seen as harmful or interrupting to our protocols and our normal site operations will be met with immediate termination. That is what you do. You will not often have to see the subject class die. Usually a scientist or a guard will radio you and give you the ID number that you need to terminate. Flip a switch and the subject class is dead. Remotely, you don't have to witness anything. Consider this merciful, as everyone else will see this in plain sight. You were given this job because we feel that you hold the potential for great responsibility. Any misuse of the SCONE switchboard will result in immediate termination from your position and possible demotion. We are trusting you with a piece of technology that is very powerful and very detrimental if misused. Do not make us regret this decision. Your supervisor will now train you in the operation of the SCONE switchboard and give further details as to when it is to be employed. Thank you for listening to this training tape. Supervisors, please rewind for the next group.